Rescue and recovery of downed pilots. In the vast, hostile theaters of modern warfare, where air superiority is often a keystone of strategy, the downing of a single pilot behind enemy lines can trigger a global crisis. Every second becomes critical. Recovery operations must be fast, precise, and invisible. While official military rescue teams like the U.S. Air Force's para-rescue units are trained for such missions, there have been times, especially in politically sensitive regions, when the call went to someone else. That someone, according to multiple defense insiders, was often Blackwater. Blackwater's reputation for speed, flexibility, and deniability made it uniquely suited for high-risk, off-the-books pilot recovery missions. These weren't cinematic deployments with fleets of helicopters and full military backup. They were surgical extractions in places where official boots couldn't be on the ground, and success meant retrieving not just a person, but a symbol. In Iraq and Afghanistan, where insurgents hunted downed pilots like trophies, Blackwater teams were already in theater, operating under vague job descriptions that masked their capabilities. When an aircraft went down, time was the enemy. Within minutes, militants would converge on the site, hoping to capture the pilot alive for propaganda. Or worse, Blackwater's private Quick Reaction Forces, QRFs, operating in unmarked vehicles with encrypted comms, could move faster than conventional units, and access routes the military could not officially use. One unconfirmed operation involved the recovery of a U.S. pilot who crash-landed near the Syrian border. The pilot ejected and activated a beacon, but the area was crawling with hostile forces. Within hours, a Blackwater team, operating from a covert base in northern Iraq, crossed into the contested region under the cover of darkness. Using drone support for recon and local assets for navigation, they located the pilot, neutralized nearby threats, and exfiltrated via an unregistered helicopter. The mission was never publicized, and the pilot was quietly debriefed days later. These missions required more than tactical firepower. Blackwater contractors had to blend military discipline with deep operational intelligence, understanding terrain, insurgent movement, and regional politics. In some cases, they worked through proxy militias or bribed local officials to gain access to crash sites. In others, they moved alone, counting on their training and sheer will to survive hostile territory. Blackwater's Air Division, once known as Presidential Airways, was instrumental in these operations. Their fleet of modified helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft, often registered under shell companies, provided insertion and extraction capabilities that operated outside conventional military airspace. The aircraft carried no official markings, and the crews had no formal uniforms. If captured, they couldn't be linked to any government, only to a faceless contractor. Of course, such missions carried immense risks. Contractors operating without the legal protection of soldiers faced torture, execution, or being used as bargaining chips. A failed extraction could ignite diplomatic incidents, endanger other operations, or lead to total disavowal by those who hired them. That's why every mission was conducted with surgical precision, contingency planning, and cold calculation. Yet the stakes were always worth it. The recovery of a pilot wasn't just a tactical win, it was a psychological victory. It sent a message that no one would be left behind, that even in the darkest corners of conflict, rescue would come, even if it wore no flag. In the history of modern warfare, few roles are more dangerous or more sacred than rescuing the fallen. And in that role, Blackwater carved out a legacy not just as warriors, but as the invisible hands that reached into enemy territory, pulled out a brother or sister in arms, and vanished before the dawn.